She had always craved the spotlight, drawn to it like a moth to flame. Live streaming became her stage, a place where validation came in waves of likes, comments, and adoration. Every night, she perched in front of the camera, sharing thoughts on love, fashion, and fleeting wisdom, basking in digital praise from thousands who idolized her every move. That evening, her voice was soft and honeyed as she answered late-night questions from her followers. Her bedroom lights glowed, warm behind her, fairy lights blinking like distant stars. The audience was swelling, hearts floating across the screen, eager for more of her effortless charm. Then, without a word, her boyfriend walked in. He moved quietly, his presence shifting the air around them. He looked nervous but steady, like a man who had rehearsed this moment 1,000 times. In his hands, he held a small velvet box, and in his eyes, a storm of hope and fear. The audience caught on immediately. The chat exploded with emojis and rapid-fire comments. Is this it? Oh my God, he's going to propose. He knelt beside her, gently placed the box in his palm, and opened it to reveal a ring. It wasn't flashy or oversized. It was simple, timeless, and deeply sincere. The kind of ring that whispers love instead of shouting it. Will you marry me? He asked, voice trembling with emotion, his eyes locked onto hers, as if the entire world had narrowed to just her reaction. For a moment, time seemed to pause. Then she laughed, not the nervous giggle of a woman overwhelmed with surprise, but a sharp, mocking sound that sliced through the intimacy of the moment. She squinted at the ring, held it up to the camera, and tilted her head. Seriously, she said, letting out another chuckle. What is this, from a vending machine? The audience faltered. Some laughed out of habit, unsure if it was a joke. Others sent rows of confused emojis. Her tone hadn't softened. You really thought this was good enough for me, she added, raising her eyebrows as if he'd just handed her a toy. He stood slowly, his expression a mixture of heartbreak and public embarrassment. No words, just silence, and a slow exit from the room as she continued streaming, brushing off the moment like it was a comedy bit. We'll talk later, she said with a dismissive wave, her tone light and unaffected. But something had cracked. The chat turned sour. Comments that once worshipped her began shifting, calling her out. That wasn't right. He looked crushed. You just embarrassed him in front of all of us. Still, she kept going, pretending nothing had changed. An hour later, as she answered more questions and tried to push the mood back to normal, a new message popped up pinned at the top of the chat from a verified account. It was him. You loved the ring when we picked it out together last month. Before your audience became more important than your honesty. The words hit like a thunderclap. She froze. The screen went quiet. No one typed. Her hand hovered over the mouse as her face drained of color. For once, the spotlight didn't feel warm. It burned. Within minutes, screen recordings of the proposal and his message were circulating across the internet. The clips went viral overnight. TikTokers dissected the moment. Reaction videos poured in. And slowly, then all at once, everything began to unravel. Sponsors that once bragged about her influence quietly backed out. Her manager called in a panic, yelling about contracts and disappearing brand deals. Her follower count, once her crown jewel, began to sink like a stone. And the ring, the very one she mocked, became a symbol in online discourse, referenced as the moment she lost everything real. She tried to control the damage, claimed it was a misunderstanding, posted tearful apologies, but the internet doesn't forget, and the receipts were everywhere. Old videos surfaced showing similar red flags, how she often placed content over connection, applause over authenticity. The audience had seen too much. Meanwhile, the man she humiliated disappeared from the online world entirely. Friends would later say he had turned to art, to quiet living, that he no longer spoke of her or the moment that ended their relationship. He didn't need to. His silence was louder than any video. She tried to rebuild. New live streams, new brands, forced smiles, but it was never the same. The comments never let her forget. Every stream had ghost echoes of that sentence he wrote, the truth she couldn't erase. And in the privacy of her quieter nights, when she wasn't pretending anymore, she would scroll through her analytics, watching the numbers shrink. She'd walk past jewelry stores and feel her stomach drop, not because of the ring's value but because she had thrown away something genuine. A man who had loved her, a moment that had meant everything, all traded for cheap entertainment. And ego. The ring had been perfect, and she had laughed it away. What she lost wasn't just love. It was trust. It was the person she had been before fame demanded a performance. It was her real self buried beneath filters, edits, and an audience that no longer clapped. And some part of her knew, no matter how many followers she regained, that loss would never be undone.